Hello, YouTube. Welcome to another exciting episode of Simon Says Wrestling, and it's officially the first episode of 2026. Obviously, quite the bumpy year that we had in 2025, losing one of the greatest wrestlers of all time in John Cena. But unfortunately, the show must go on. And these are my predictions for 2026. Roll the clip. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you guys can know when we're dropping new episodes. Obviously, we're going to do it a bit more frequently now, pushing more content on a daily. Thank you all so much for the subscribers, the followers on the social media platforms, and even on YouTube. This year, we're aiming for 1,500 subscribers on YouTube by at least the middle of this year, 1,500. So please guys, hit those like buttons, hit those follow, hit those subscribe buttons. Let's interact more, let's grow the community of wrestling. So basically I'm just gonna give my thoughts on the things that I would like to see in the year 2026. It will be interesting to see how a lot of storylines are made and progressed in the industry at this point in time. Obviously with some superstars that I'm not gonna go much into, but just gonna go into the major players and how I would like to see them booked going forward. I'm gonna start off with the two main champions at this point in time, which is Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. This is obviously on the male side of things. I'm gonna be starting off with CM Punk. With the first episode of Monday Night Raw coming through on the 5th, with him obviously defending the title against Braun Breaker. Sadly, I wouldn't mind seeing CM Punk losing the World Heavyweight Championship to Braun Breaker, which would usher in a new era of superstars who have potential to go up and obviously try and lead the company going forward. So I wouldn't mind having CM Punk losing the title and giving the reins to Braun Breaker, who would then give more validity to the vision. Obviously with the title changing hands from CM Punk to Braun Breaker would then be, he is actually the leader of the division. So it would be great to have them with a leader who has the power, so to say, to guide the business into bigger and better days. Please don't mind the dog in the background. Obviously we're still in the festive season, so to say. So a lot of people still have fireworks, and he's gonna go crazy every time he hears fireworks. Obviously with Braun Breaker having the World Heavyweight Championship, he would then be able to basically assert his dominance over the WWE Raw side of things. So obviously with Braun Breaker having the title, that would leave only Austin Theory and Bronson Reed. In my instance, I think Bronson Reed needs a single title run. I need to have that image of evolution pasted onto the vision at this point in time. I don't think Seth Rollins should return on the first Monday night. I think the best way for Seth Rollins to come back is at the Royal Rumble. For me, that would be the best place for Seth Rollins. I just need the vision to assert its dominance over the Raw division of side of things. So obviously with Bronson Reed, we can maybe give him the Intercontinental Championship and have Logan Paul and Austin Theory both go after the Tag Team Championships. Obviously egos will clash, and this is how we'll obviously at some point get the implosion of the vision. But for me, I need every member of the vision at this point in time to make it a point that they need a title around their waist in the year 2026. CM Punk obviously is going to go through that whole process of trying to regain back the World Heavyweight Championship, and obviously realizing the fact that he's outnumbered. He can't then go against the vision alone. So then he will start to recruit a lot of people. And I think maybe down the line, we might get a CM Punk and Seth Rollins tag team. It's a bit of a far-fetched since they hate each other so much. But I would love to see them team up later to try and take on the vision. Cody Rhodes needs to lose the Universal Championship to Drew McIntyre. I've been saying this for the past couple of months now. Drew McIntyre is not only carrying Cody Rhodes, but at this point in time, he's carrying the storyline between the two. He's the one that brings the animosity, the twists and turns in the whole thing. The only thing that Cody Rhodes has been offering us is obviously the babyface perspective of things, of always rising up to the challenge, getting fed up and challenging the person. And obviously with the cycle that's been repeated, he has gotten up lots of times and beaten Drew McIntyre. I think this one time is the time that he needs to fail. Cody Rhodes needs to fail and needs to hit rock bottom in order to rebuild himself once again. For me personally, Cody Rhodes he's faced adversity. He's obviously wrestled injured. He's obviously gone through processes where friends were trying to turn on him. I think now would be the perfect time to have Cody Rhodes hit rock bottom and try to rebuild himself back to a level that he knows that he can compete and is very capable of. Given the fact that this guy has been on a high ever since he got to the WWE. First night matchup, first opponent was Seth Rollins. Already took him to the skies, to the limit, and obviously made him a fan favorite in the WWE. So it will be very interesting to get a storyline where Cody Rhodes is not only struggling but not getting the support that he feels that he should be getting from other people. Drew McIntyre can do what Drew McIntyre does best. He can antagonize, he can be the perfect heel. I think we can push the whole storyline where Cody Rhodes is trying to get back to the top once again, to have it maybe main event night 1 or night 2 of WrestleMania, to have Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes for the Universal Championship on night 2. That would be something that I would definitely vouch my money for and put my money on. Drew McIntyre, I have a long list of opponents that he can face on SmackDown, who he can try and elevate and see if they're on the same level. Eli Dragunov just lost the United States Championship to Melo. So obviously with Melo, Melo will obviously go and defend the United States going forward. I think I've seen enough of the open challenge on the United States Championship front. I need a story that we can sink our teeth into, even if it is to revisit what the Miz had with Melo. Miz can be better in saying, why is it that after everything that I've done for you, I'm not the first person that you considered when you're giving up or you're challenging for the United States Championship? But that's Melo aside. Drew McIntyre has opponents like Eli Dragunov that he can obviously propel to bigger and greater heights. He can probably have title versus title match against Melo. He would kill it in that instance. Trick Williams might be getting signed to SmackDown, so that will obviously be a good way to elevate the talent going forward. But with Drew McIntyre obviously putting his own twist and his own heel fact to the whole thing that's happening. So Drew McIntyre, there's a great list of youngsters that he can face on the SmackDown side of things. Obviously, with having history with Damian Priest, this is maybe a way where we can get Damian Priest away from Aleister Black and have Aleister Black focus more on the United States Championship. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, take my money any day, anytime. There's a lot of history there. There's a story that we can build around it. So yeah, Drew McIntyre can obviously go down that route. I think the third person, let's just talk about superstars in terms of being huge. Obviously, Roman Reigns has carried the company for a great span of a long time in the company, and having given us records that he has broken, storylines that have kept us intrigued into this whole thing. Like Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns needs to face adversity. Roman Reigns needs to know what it is to hit rock bottom. I need someone that will rub it into Roman Face's face that he hasn't been relevant ever since his family stepped away from him. I need someone to play the mind games with Roman Reigns to let him know that without your family, you are nothing. You're literally nothing. There's nothing you can accomplish. You've been losing match after match ever since you came back. The only match that you've won was when your family was involved. Even the recent one you fell because the Usos tried to help, and that was something that didn't work out. So Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes need to walk the same path. They need to struggle with something, whether it's their confidence, whether it's the fact that they might not have it anymore within themselves to carry the company or be the faces of the company. They can even come at some point and meet each other one way and then just talk about how they can regain their dominance over the scenery of the whole WWE. So I just need Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes to face a struggle that they cannot get themselves out of mentally and obviously physically, with trying to keep up with the new age cats of today. LA Knight, I think we've been preaching for the longest of time, and it's just so weird, the fact that we've been trying to push this guy and we've been showing our support for LA Knight for so long, and that nothing has been done. Instead, the only thing he got was the United States Championship title run, and obviously from there he went blank. But for me, going forward, I think LA Knight will obviously be a good addition to whatever team will be going up against the Vision. But I also need LA Knight to have his own story that's not rooted in following someone else's revenge plot. As much as I would like to see him in a punk with maybe in a team with CM Punk, Seth Rollins, LA Knight, and maybe two other competitors that obviously been wronged by the Vision, which is obviously Roman Reigns, and I don't know who the fourth person is at this point in time. It would be great to see them team up together, but I need LA Knight to stand on his own. I need LA Knight to win one major event this year. The Royal Rumble, personally, I think Seth Rollins should win the Royal Rumble, should make a return at number 13, clear out the ring, win the Royal Rumble, go on to face Braun Breaker for the World Heavyweight Championship on the first night of WrestleMania. Second night, we can have Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes. I'll be cool with that, but I just need an elevation of superstars. So obviously, with that being said, LA Knight needs to win a major, whether it's a title or a major pay-per-view. It can either be the Elimination Chamber or he can be the runner-up at the Royal Rumble. I wouldn't fight with that, and I'll be totally okay with him being elevated to a level where he's competing for the World Heavyweight Championship against Braun Breaker. The other superstar that I can think of at this point in time would be the Wyatt Six. A faction that came onto the scene so hot and has now somehow just went down to -5 degrees Celsius at this point in time. They're stuck in what I like to call an MFT loophole. This is where week in, week out, they swap sides. One team ends up on top, the other team ends up at the bottom. The Wyatt Six's biggest failure and the biggest underutilized superstar in the team is Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy has the potential to become a combination of what Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker was. So Undertaker and Bray Wyatt used to play a lot of mind games with the opponents. They would get into the heads of the opponents to make them doubt themselves and to obviously question the people around them. When it was first announced that it would be the MFTs versus the Wyatt Six, I was thinking that Uncle Howdy would start driving a wedge between the MFTs to basically state the fact that, you know what, you guys aren't as close as you think you are. Tama Tonga and Solo Sokoa. At some point in time, Tama turned, well, he didn't turn on Solo. He just sided with Jacob Fatu. So now it could be a mind game of, why are you still surrounding yourself with people who once chose other family members in your family and still think they will be loyal to you? You've done this so many times with so many people, and yet at the end of the day, you turned your back on them. This is how you get the narrative of trying to split the MFTs apart. I don't know who in the MFTs is a tag team, who in the MFT is a single competitor. The same with the Wyatt Six. The Wyatt Six has established that Dexter and I forget the other gent's name, are the tag team. Eric Rowan is the muscle. Uncle Howdy is the leader, and we have Nikki as the crazy element of surprise, but she's also a wrestler. She hasn't basically defined herself out of the group. The only thing that she's been there for is popping up here and there, and obviously in mixed tag team matches. So it would be great, given the fact that the women's division is suffering so much, to actually get Nikki out of that bubble of the Wyatt Six and start engaging and start playing mind games with other competitors. Nikki, for me, is the same as Uncle Howdy. Is what Uncle Howdy could be to the men's division is what Nikki can be to the women's division. Nikki can be that element that plays mind games. For the fact that Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair are actually friends now, we could have Nikki start playing mind games with Alexa Bliss, given the fact that Alexa Bliss comes from the same stable of the Wyatts that Nikki's coming from, and just to lower her in back into the evil. Because let's face it now, Alexa Bliss is a babyface. Going forward, she will split up with Charlotte Flair, but how we get to that point, you can definitely interject the supernatural element of the Wyatt Six. So for me, I need the Wyatt Six to establish themselves as individuals. Uncle Howdy needs to go after, whether it be the United States Championship or even the Universal Championship, because at the end of the day, the story and the momentum that they came into the WWE with could have propelled them so high up in the ranks that we would have had them maybe competing at a WrestleMania. But at this point in time, it's very hard to imagine even Uncle Howdy going into the Royal Rumble. Going into the Royal Rumble, who is he going to feud with? What is he going to do? What mind games is he going to play? It's just going to be another one of those numbers. So what I would love for an event like the Royal Rumble is for every entrant that goes into that Royal Rumble to come out with a story, or go into the Royal Rumble with a story and come out having elevated it or being hotter than what it was when the Royal Rumble started. So the Wyatt Six and the MFTs have the same issue, classifying themselves as to which opponents they are or which category they fall into and what their main course of action is. Obviously, the MFTs were formed by Solo Sikoa after he was betrayed by the ones that he loved the most, being Jacob Fatu, who also is another component that's been missing for the longest of time now and can actually just come back to face Drew McIntyre. And it would be great to see him back into the fold. I don't know whether he's having whether it's a medical issue or something that he can't do that's preventing him from wrestling, but him coming back would also add to the list of Jacob Fatu, added to the list of Drew McIntyre opponents that he can face. So it's a lot of things that they can do. It's a lot of stories that they can tell with these MFTs and the Wyatt Six, and obviously Jacob Fatu coming back. So it would be great to see, and it would be very great to just have a Royal Rumble packed with storylines that we grow on, and then we either create new storylines. We also have, well, Aleister Black, for me personally, should go after Melo in the United States Championship. That's where I would then focus his attention to. The tag team division on Monday Night Raw is now in the good hands of the Usos. Now, the Usos, as we know, are a great tag team that have elevated and placed teams at higher bases and in higher places, and obviously main eventing, given the fact that Jey Uso has come off one of the best runs I think he has ever had in his career, ever coming to the WWE. If we can capitalize on that and have the Usos bring up the tag team division, like bring back the War Raiders, the New Day desperately needs a new headed direction. They need a new story that will give us, and then not make us forget the fact that this is one of the greatest tag team in the world. Period. I think it's the Usos, it's the New Day, and then Team Extreme, and then you get the rest. But at the end of the day, I need a story that will then not only limit the New Day to crowd insults and crowd basically interacting with the crowd more than they are in the ring. The other person that I would like to see taken seriously is Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller has a lot of history with Austin Theory. Grayson Waller could be a great addition to the vision once Austin Theory turns on them and exposes the fact that he was a mole working for Seth Rollins all along. Grayson Waller knows Austin Theory inside and out. And before, obviously, Austin Theory got injured, Grayson Waller was having a lot of tension with them. So it would be great to just summarize and finish up that story between the two, and also see them in the main event of maybe something like a 5-on-5 traditional Team Punk versus Team Braun. This year, I don't really feel like seeing War Games. Personally, I'm over War Games ever since the War Games became a bloodline issue. Every War Games that has happened has featured Roman Reigns. It's almost like it's a Roman Reigns match. I need a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match. And yeah, I think we can all agree that War Games was great when it was introduced, and we were looking forward to it because we had had a taste of it before. Now I think it's time we went back to basics and actually had that 5-on-5 Team Punk versus Team Braun, something of that nature. Who do I think should win the Royal Rumble this year? It's Seth Rollins. I know I'm being biased. I know Seth Rollins is my favorite superstar of everyone that's in the WWE. But I would definitely love to see Seth Rollins winning the Royal Rumble and going to WrestleMania to face Braun Breaker for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that is a main event caliber sort of match that we can have for that one. Elimination Chamber, I'll give it to Gunther. Obviously, purely because Gunther at this point in time is one of the hottest heels in the company at this point in time. And I would like to see new competitors in that Elimination Chamber. I would like, well, not necessarily new, but names that we're not often used to seeing in such main events. Finn Balor, LA Knight, Gunther, Dominic Mysterio, and Austin Theory. And maybe, I think it's 6 competitors. Yeah, it's 5 competitors. We can have those 5 competitors go into that match, and we can see who's going to win that match. Personally, at the Royal Rumble, I would like to have AJ Styles. I know it's a bit too soon and it's a bit too, but I would like to see AJ Styles retired at the event that he debuted at. So it would be great to see Gunther versus AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble. This being AJ Styles' final match. Obviously against Gunther, because Gunther at this point in time is just on a roll where he's just retiring legends for fun. Like, he wakes up, he just looks at a list as, oh, who's the closest to retiring now? Oh, I think that's going to be my next victim. I'm going after them. So it will be very great to see who he can. But I would definitely love to see AJ Styles versus Gunther at the Royal Rumble. So far, let me know what you guys think. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Let me know what you think of my predictions so far and what I would like to see, and just comment down below what you would like to see for the next upcoming year. The other issue that we basically having is I would take the barriers off of the women's division, the tag team side of things, even the single competitor side of things. There are a lot of teams that need to be broken up so we can start picking off potential heavyweight and universal championship contenders. Jade Cargill is currently top of the mountain. Stephanie Varquez is definitely top of the mountain at this point in time. We need competitors that will go after these titles on their respective brands. I think if we can take off the barriers, that would solve so many issues. The barriers on NXT, the barriers on TNA, the barriers on SmackDown and Raw. If we can break down all 4 of those barriers and have these people just going after those major titles, then it would be one of the best, and I think, storylines that we could get. Obviously, Jade Cargill still needs to show her dominance. Jade Cargill came in as a hot free agent who's a powerhouse. She's showed her power, and I think the only person that I can think of personally that should dethrone Jade Cargill is one of 2 women, Naomi or Bianca Belair. Those are the 2 competitors that I think that she can maybe face off at WrestleMania to maybe compete for the title or take the title off of her. We haven't had anything from Tiffy ever since she left, and yeah, it's just also another story of what we're having with the Intercontinental Championship. The Intercontinental Championship is just literally competed against Julia and the Secret Harvest with Chelsea Green. Besides that, it's alternating between the 2 ladies. There's no new competitors to make themselves feel that they are big and they're a threat to those championships, given the fact that they throw in Michin and BFAB once in a while to try and spice things up. But we've seen how the story goes. Michin and BFAB are getting bullied by bigger, better superstars, and obviously always come close to capturing the gold and never really have an interaction or have a pop when they do come out. Like, for instance, when Michin was challenging for the Intercontinental Championship, it was great to see that she's a babyface and she's trying to protect and stand up for what she believes in. But there was no story behind it. There was no pop to say, oh yeah, she's finally coming out. There was no story to stick, and then there was no character development to say, oh, I can actually start rooting for Michin. It always just seems like she's coming to the aid of BFAB, or BFAB is just coming to the aid of her. Then they get a matchup, they fail at that matchup, go back, repeat the same cycle with new opponents. So it would be great to see them get out of that whole matrix and funk and just try to elevate themselves to a better level. Like I've been saying, BFAB has improved tremendously. Michin is a great in-ring competitor, so it would be great to see them going after other titles than what they've been going through on SmackDown. But obviously that's not going to happen. We might be stuck in this loophole for a while. Stephanie just needs to go out and show us that wrestling is her language. We all know it is. We all know whoever she's going to go in the ring with, it will be great. So obviously with her coming out of the feud with Nikki and Rodriguez, I think the next plausible option would be Stephanie Verker versus Becky Lynch. That's going to be a feud that's going to feed a lot of families and for us, keep us very entertained, given the fact that Becky Lynch has got into her groove of playing this heel. So it'd be great to see Becky Lynch now go up and face Stephanie Verker for the heavyweight championship. The other duo that obviously needs to go after the tag team championships is Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. Bayley's going through a transition where she's having what I would like to call a fistless fit. Back in the day, there was a wrestler who now you guys refer to as Luke Gallows, who was then named as Fistus. I think it was Fistus. Fistus, when he comes down to the ring, very chilled, mellow, looks like he's not even on the same planet as we are. Pretty dumb and pretty not aware of everything that's going on around him. But immediately when the bell rings, he snaps out of it. He locks in and he starts going after opponents and starts being the powerhouse that he was at that time. I could be wrong. Maybe Fistus isn't Luke Gallows. I don't know. Could be. I'll just check that out, because obviously now I'm shooting from the top of the dome now. And with Bayley going through that transition, it would be great to see how she handles being a tag team partner to Lyra. And will she eventually turn on Lyra because she's going to get stuck into this mode where she's just a badass and she's just kicking ass and she locks in so hard that she just does everything that she needs to win. So with Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, it would be great to see them go after the tag team champion. But after that, I need Bayley and Lyra to once again bump heads and then obviously elevate each other to a level where they are ready to challenge for the for the heavyweight championship. Not a lot of superstars that I can think of going into 2026, but I don't want the Usos to turn on each other. This is something I think the WWE has been pondering and playing with, but I don't think Jey Uso, this is the right time for him to turn on Jimmy Uso. I think this is the right time for Jimmy Uso to turn on Jey. But then they would just be replaying that whole festive that we had from WrestleMania as a super kick party. So for now, let's just elevate the Raw tag team division, get our teams up to par, have them interact in storylines and matches, and take it from, because now it just feels like we have tag teams for add-ons. Well, we need to have a match next week for the New Day. There's a Viking Raiders. Hey, Viking Raiders versus the New Day. No, there's literally nothing. Finn Balor obviously has appointed himself as the leader of the Judgment Day. Personally, we need to get rid of the Judgment Day. It's long overdue now. The group obviously had a boost with obviously the interference that they had against John Cena, but they haven't done anything with that momentum. It now just feels like Liv Morgan isn't even back. Liv Morgan isn't doing anything but being a cheerleader and distracting referee. She's become nothing more than a tool to the team. Finn Balor and Liv Morgan, we don't know who's actually leading the group. I just think it's time for the Judgment Day to be split apart and have them go their separate ways and go after certain titles. And just Raquel Rodriguez could actually come out the biggest star out of this whole thing. I think she can obviously be the next powerhouse to challenge for the heavyweight championship. She is now, but it's basically wrapped and tied with Nikki Bella inside her own personal issues, trying to show the fact that she is a legend. She needs to be taken seriously. So it would be great to see the team split apart. Liv Morgan is also another great competitor that can go after the heavyweight championship. We have a lot of women in that team that can obviously rock. Roxanne Perez, like the level of technical knowledge and wrestling IQ that she has for someone that joined the company so recently, it's flipping fantastic. It would be great to see her go after the heavyweight championship. Obviously, we need the Intercontinental Championship with opponents. I think Lyra Valkyria, Roxanne Perez would be great opponents for Maxine Dupree. And with everything going the way that it is, I think they are the ones that can mostly focus on those. And we can have other women from NXT or from SmackDown come through. There's basically not even a women's division at SmackDown. So it would be great to see those going after those. I need heavy names to go over heavy titles, and those that we know are good can go after the Intercontinental United States Championship, but just have the women interact as a whole to make a story for everyone to feel involved. Even Nikki Bella, I don't understand why she's back, but I can appreciate the fact that she's taking the time to come back into the ring to try and elevate certain talent. She can also do the same with the Intercontinental Championship, the United States Championship. It would be great to see her interact with younger superstars and just telling them that if it wasn't for her, they wouldn't be where they are today. So, yeah. And the other thing is just this post-match interviews with Triple H and other senior management. Those need to end. We can have Big E, Wade Barrett, Michael Cole, and even Corey Graves to head up the post interviews, basically giving us a reaction as to how they feel about everything that went on. Let's leave the storylines more in the ring than we do after post matches and all of that other stuff. It would be great to see going forward. Like I said, Royal Rumble winner for this year, Seth Rollins. Hell in Elimination Chamber, I'm going Gunther. I don't know what I'm going to do with Gunther after he wins the Elimination Chamber, but I'm going Gunther. Survivor Series 5-on-5 traditional match, Team Punk versus Team Braun. WrestleMania Night 1 main event, Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker. WrestleMania Night 2 main event, Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes. The other ones, you guys let me know what you think. A lot of people I'm seeing are saying that we need to run back the whole Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the Universal Championship. Nah, it's not the right time. Guys haven't been actually having a nice story that we can sink our teeth into unless they can create something at the Royal Rumble. But for me, that's how I'm seeing it. SummerSlam, Gunther versus Brock Lesnar. That would be a match that I'll definitely pay top dollar to see. And just basically an elevation of every superstar. Like I said, let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. Let me know what you would love to see in 2026. I've given you guys my list, and if you agree with it, smash the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Let's grow the channel. We're going for 1,500 for mid-June. 1,500 subscribers by the mid-Junes or so. And if we can get to the 1,500, we'll obviously keep growing and giving more content on wrestling. Let me know what you guys would like me to cover, what topics you would like for me to cover next, who you think will win the Royal Rumble this year, who do you think is coming out as the World Heavyweight Championship on Monday Night Raw. Once again, Happy New Year, guys. Thank you so much for the support. Comment down below, hit the like button, hit the follow button on all social media platforms. It's on X, It's on TikTok. It's on Instagram. It's at Simon Says Wrestling. Please follow, and we can talk more wrestling. The more wrestling we talk, the more better the earth comes. I don't know, some slogan that I'm gonna need to come up with at the end of the year or during the year. Thank you all so much for the support, guys. As always, peace, and let's talk wrestling.